Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with my daily video. So let's just take a tour around or skip around the studio here today. First of all, we want to talk about the Jolly Bar because that is so long coming up in April. We will be using the brand new Jolly Bar book, which is using a 5x10 pre-cuts that are exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop. So this is like half of a layer cake, and the book has patterns. This is the third book that they've done, and we'll be doing a sampler for a table runner out of here. And then I selected the bracelets. So that's the quilt that we're gonna make. For those of you who wanna make that one, you can make whichever one you want in there. You could make both the table runner and a quilt, or you could just do one or the other. I'm going to use the Harbor Spring. I decided I wanted an Americana quilt. I thought that that would be fun. I will use the other fig tree fabric later for something else. I will use this background, this sort of eggshell or very just off white. And I got enough of the backing that I can do a little border. I had ordered 4 yards of this and I only need 3 yards for the pattern. So I will use a little bit of this for, not a wide, just a little skinny border on it. Now one of the things is because I'm using this light background, the pattern doesn't take every one of these pieces, so I can drop out all of these lights because they're not going to show up as nicely on here. And this is definitely a red, white, and blue. It's got a little bit of pink as well, but you know, here's the great reds that are in it. And then the white part will be here. So basically the chain on mine, the bracelet, will be red and blue, navy, and pinks. So that's what I'll have here, which I think will be awesome. And then that little bit of a blue around it. Yes. A plan. I love a plan. So get your stuff together, have it ready. You have plenty of time. We start in April. I forget what day. It's not April 1st. I don't like to start anything on April 1st anyways. I don't know. Maybe that's the superstitions for me. Like, not on April 1st. So Hope blocks. Yesterday, I forgot to show you my Hope block, my March Hope block. We're doing 1 block a week to make one block a day to make a Hope quilt by the end of the month. And this is the block I did for yesterday. Now, do you see this? Do you see that pineapple fabric? Do you remember me showing you that before? Like somewhere in the past year, I used this. I don't even know what project it was on, but this was a shirt of Greg's that when he was done with it, I was so happy because I could cut it up. And so I still have a little bit of that left, not a ton, but I can still do a little bit more with it. It was a nice cotton shirt, a little black and white pineapples. Yeah, I needed that. Don't be throwing that one in the trash when it's done. Now also, for today, I have my block. There we go. So this is a darker pink, and this is kind of a tone on tone. It's an Allison Glass fabric. So there you can see like the images, like there's a bee in there. Yeah, so you can see it up close. I believe this actually was in was it in a Christmas line with a bee? I don't remember. So I'm going to show you, I put this row together, and now when I put my row underneath it, let me do that. When I put this row underneath it, you will get to see how the images, the intersection starts to line up, which I am so excited. The polka dots and the teal, this is awesome. So awesome. Look at that. I am thrilled. So today I will get those 2 rows sewn together because my goal is to like keep this moving. As I get pieces done, blocks done, I'll sew them to each other and then sew the rows together. The other thing I'm doing, and I know a lot of you do this, so this is not something new, but when we're doing the sew and flips, from the corner, there's the polka dot. When I do the sew and flip corner, I end up with these 2 little triangles, and a few of you sew these. Some of you sew these as before you cut them off. You'll do your sew and flip, and then you'll take the whole thing and sew back over again. I don't do that. I cut them off, and then I use these later as I'm sewing to start and finish between units. And I've decided I'm going to sew all these up. I have kept these in the past and done nothing with them. I have kept a few and made some little tiny star blocks and didn't do anything with those yet. I didn't get very many of them made, but this time I think I'm really going to do it. I'm going to have a little side plan. I have a box up on the cupboard up here that I'm going to sew these, and then periodically I'm going to get the box down and we'll trim them and press them open. What I'm thinking is that they would just make a half square triangle of 1-inch half square triangles, like a color wash. I just think that I just have this idea that if I've used and made like all of these, you know, it'll take a while. But you know, there's enough times where I have these fabrics that are available to use up, you know, to use them up. And we'll see how far I get, because sometimes these things end up, then they just sit there and I don't use them and I don't do anything with them. And for me, then they're just storage of trash because I have not used it. I gotta find somebody who else wants them. Because if I'm not going to actually actively be engaged with a project like that, of just little tiny pieces that I think eventually, you know, but this time I feel a little more enthused about it. I'm like, oh yeah, because I also have the salvages that I'm saving. I'd like to process those as I go into something, rather than just piling them up forever and then dealing with it. I kind of like the idea of making things as I go along. And that's more encouraging for me, because all of a sudden I have blocks, or all of a sudden I have a bunch of units. Like these little half square triangles, I would need a bunch. I don't want to sew them just together because I want to look at them on the wall. I want to maybe make a design or make it interesting by the colors. So that would be a much more specific process. You know, I really want to know what I'm doing with them. Okay, so maybe I'm nuts. Do you do these kind of things? Do you get, yeah, I'm sure you do. Like somebody does. I can't be the only one. Get to figure out these wonderful things to keep ourselves busy. I just think it's creative. I think it's creative. I am sort of got excited about the thought of having all these tiny little half square triangles. If I find it one day, I did a little mat out of some from a project. They were all leftovers from a quilt, and so they coordinated, and I made a little table mat. You know, it was only about this big, and it took a lot because they're only 1 inch finished. It takes a while to get them made up. Okay, so I've been thinking about Easter. Oh yeah. So one of the things is, I've had, you know, a few people have said, oh, we're going to make like a tree or the heart or the shamrock, or we're going to do something for, you know, spring. And because of my schedule right now, I am not going to schedule something. That doesn't mean that I didn't find some cute fabric and might still do something, but I'm not going to schedule something because since you watch my videos, you're going to hear it first. I'm starting to work on my next book. I know the current one isn't even in print or in your hands yet, but in order to make things flow, you have to start before the next one's out. So I will be working on a book for 2 months, and I can't be doing other extra, you know, projects. Now, if someone finds something cute and you make it and share it in the group over at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at Facebook, that is awesome. But I won't have a scheduled project. But I'll be sharing things, I'm sure, and I might make a table runner because I found the cutest Easter fabric, and now it's like I must make something Eastery. But a table runner will be well within my speed. I can do a zigzag table runner. But I want to show you the layer cake. It's called Easter Egg Hunt. Oh my gosh, I love Easter Egg Hunt. So there's bunnies. It's all pastel-y. Look at the little carrots. Oh, here, let me get you down in here because, you know, you got to see all the cuteness. There's the carrots, and it's got dots, yeah, and a little stripe like on the Easter egg. Here's, oh, look at that. Those are darling. And the egg. Then there's like the field with the carrot. Look, there's carrots. There's carrots in the grass. Carrots, so cute. And then here's everything in this sort of wonderful Eastery green and then white background. Look at the bunny faces. Look. Then there's a yellow. and a gold color. Look at the bunny faces. And so oh, and there's a peach. There's a couple peach ones at the very back. So I got the charm pack too, which is 5-inch squares. So I might just do a table runner with that and maybe save this. I mean, I would love to do a quilt, but I just cannot. I have to say no to myself. I say no to myself for the next, till May. I have, 2 months just to focus on the book and not starting new projects. We'll do the ones we're doing and maybe a little table runner or a tiny little project here or there. So if anybody finds something small and cute, let me know. It has to be small though. It has to be small or I can't do it. Now I was working on my cross stitch. So I got the frame done on the markings. What is it called? Monthly markings. And the next is the shamrock hat, the hat with the shamrock. So I'm going to try to get that done by the 17th. One of our friends, I think it was a Carrie, made this and said it went pretty fast. So now you don't know how I stitch, but especially I'm using the variegated, so I feel like I have to, I can't go down one side and back the other because the variegated doesn't look as nice. The variegated looks nicer when I do one X at a time. So that takes longer to do the variegated. But the other thing is, like, I was such a dork. This is the beautiful thread that I'm doing that outline with. That's what's on there, the outline around each of the shapes. And I thought, oh, I need to put one on. I'm gonna thread up 2 needles. So I thought, well, I'll open this and see, get to find a needle in there. And in there I found not one, but two of that blue already threaded up. And I'm like, duh. So now I have three needles taken with the same thread on it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, that's nuts. I was not paying attention, apparently. Not paying attention. So I have a Q&A question from Darla. She wanted to know, how do you know when a piece of fabric needs to go? When it is no longer speaking to you. That's what I assume by go means. Pretty much if you have a piece of fabric that you have never used, every time you look at it, you think, well, first of all, if you look at it and you think, I just don't like that fabric, that's the time to let it go. You rarely seem to like it better. If you think, well, I've never used this, it never works with anything, let it go. It's just not speaking to you. I also sometimes let older fabric go because if I've had it a long time, it doesn't feel nice. They didn't use as nice of a base fabric for years ago. So if you have very old fabric, it's going to feel stiff and it will not soften up. That is the base fabric. Maybe with years of use, it might get softer, but maybe not, because it's just not a soft fabric like you find nowadays in the quilt shops. So that would be stuff that I would let go. If I have duplicates, like fabrics that are really similar, but something is a small piece, and I have a larger piece that looks pretty much the same, I might give the small piece to the, either cut it up for the scraps or put it in my bag to give to my friends and see if somebody else wants to work with it, because I only have so much space here and I can only keep so much. I mean, if you have unlimited space, and you're using it, but if you've already renting a storage unit or something and you're putting extra fabric in there, that's not using it. Keep it in your space and use it. And those are things I go through. Like if you really don't like the fabric, just let it go. Let it go. So I don't know if that helps. If you have a particular exact specific thing, but pretty much for me, if you're questioning it, should I keep this? You probably aren't liking it. And it's, let it go. Make room for something you do like, because I want to love all the pieces of fabric that I have. I don't, but I want to. Okay, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here. Please click the subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and the like button if you had fun today. I love you. Mwah. See you online.